Welcome to Poz Vibe Podcast, a podcast for HIV positive people, their friends, family and allies. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to another episode of the Poz Vibe Podcast, and it's me and you this time, Veda.
Yes, we're back.
I know.
In the driving seat.
But how amazing was Poz Vibe Brazil?
Yeah, spectacular. Congratulations to Felipe and the crew. Spectacular work.
Do you know what? I'm so proud of Felipe. I remember the first time he done Poz Vibe. He was quite meek. He was very shy. You know, he was only coming about his status, and now he's hosting it, and he absolutely killed it.
Yeah.
I think he's come for my job.
Puts us to shame. I already said that. I was like, I might have to replace Robbie.
Yeah.
With a younger model. Oh my God, I'm such a absolute hypocrite.
No, he's
Anyway.
absolutely beautiful though. And he can.
Young models.
Yes.
Hello. We have a supermodel in the house.
Yes, we do. How are you, Tailor Maid?
Hello, I'm delighted. Look, I've got mum and dad's attention today, so I'm here with well, sorry, mum and granny. No, I'm joking.
It started already.
2 seconds
I know.
in.
Sorry. I don't know what come over me there.
No, I love it. This is the energy we want.
Yeah.
Yeah, so last time we went all the way to Brazil, and now we're going an hour and a half up the road to Northern Ireland.
There we go. We are Northern Ireland. How are you?
No.
Yes, we are. It's so fabulous to be here. I've obviously listened to the podcast and, worked with you guys for years, and I'm super excited to be here and to, delve into a little bit of my story, and yeah, let's see what comes out.
I was just saying before we were recording, like, I always thought you did record in Poz Vibe because you've done so many events, you know, you've always been a Poz Vibe Tribe member, gorgeous member, and we just really appreciate for you bringing your drag down, your art, your creativity, and overall gorgeousness.
Thank you.
So welcome to the Poz Vibe Tribe, officially.
Yes, thank you. Happy to be here.
So you are up north, and me and Veda were super, super excited about this. We only had one Northern Queen here before, Cherry on top, and we do love Cherry. Yeah. But it's something that we don't really talk about or discuss, because although it is only a few hours up the road, the system is completely different. The culture, society is very different around HIV. Yeah. So let's get into your story, and then let's just see where you're at.
see what comes out. So where do you want to start?
Okay. Start from the beginning.
Okay, so as a child, obviously born in Northern Ireland from two parents who are obviously both from West Belfast. So, as a child, I was expected to, do the whole Gaelic hurling thing. Wasn't my vibe at all. I was quite a boisterous child. If you can say that. Boisterous, maybe not, fun, let's say that. And my mum was trying to get me into everything and anything because I wouldn't stop dancing around the house. So Irish dancing didn't work, Gaelic and hurling didn't work. And do you remember the Crystal Maze? Oh, yeah. So Crystal
I'm
Maze.
still smoking it now. I haven't found my way out.
Still there, still token. So the Richard, Crystal Maze with Richard O'Brien. So I used to dance around the living room and do cartwheels and stuff like that with a theme tune, because I loved a good theme tune. Early drag, honey. We're talking fast.
Richard O'Brien, like drag royalty. He wrote the Rocky Horror Show.
Absolutely. So from that, my mum enrolled me in gymnastics. No, I there is a reason why I'm telling you all this, because I was a very naive child. So I wasn't socially how do you say it? I wasn't socialed, do you know what I mean, with a lot of people outside of the competitive industry of gymnastics. So I'd done gymnastics from the age of 7 to the age of 21 competitively. So I have British titles, Irish titles, Northern Irish titles, etc., etc. It's where I get my bendiness from. One part of my bendiness from.
Hey, that all makes sense to me, because have you ever seen Tailor Maid Colby doing drag? I don't know how you have kneecaps still, for one.
I know. I'm 42 now, still repping for the bendy bitches.
They named a chipper after her in Belfast. Spaghetti arms, spaghetti
legs, honey. Use pretzel
spaghetti
legs.
Betty.
So yeah, I was a very naive child, but I had a lot of energy. So my mum was looking for an outlet for me that was going to be, it was going to be good for me and conducive for me to actually, progress. And I absolutely love gymnastics. So I didn't experience a lot of, not to say street corners or drugs or alcohol, anything like that, because I was teetotal. I was a gymnast up to 21. I got the opportunity. So I want to talk about being in Belfast first of all. So from me working and doing working at my gymnastics and just working at school, I did get bullied a lot at school. through being different, from not liking Gaelic and hurling, and being somebody who was one of the boys. I was always very, very different, and I didn't enjoy Belfast. I didn't enjoy Belfast growing up, and wanted to get out as soon as I could. So we're talking 15, 16, 17, when I was still at gymnastics, but going, right, okay, I want to get out of here. So the opportunity came for me to get away to go to university, and I grabbed it with two hands, and I ended up doing a degree in Chester University, where I studied dance with counselling skills.
Oh, wow.
And whilst I was doing my degree, I ended up working at MAC Cosmetics. I fell into makeup and absolutely loved working with colour. I was always obsessed with colour. I think there's a heavy bit of ADHD in my brain. So I love textures, I love colours, I love anything that excites my senses. So makeup is a very, very good fit for me. And whenever I worked my way up in MAC Cosmetics, and worked very, very hard. Ended up moving to London. I moved there to work for MAC. So I worked my way up at MAC. I worked 4 different locations. Ended up in the Pro Store in Carnaby Street, which is where all the celebrities get their makeup done.
Yes, I do.
It used to be that. It used to be that when it was in Fubert's Place, but now it's moved on to Carnaby Street itself. It's lost its spark.
Haven't we all, darling?
It's lost its spark. It was good in the good old days.
MAC is coming back.
Yeah. I got to do so many fabulous things when I was at MAC. I got to work on Pirates of the Caribbean with Johnny Depp.
Oh, wow.
On Stranger Tides. I got to do Britain's Next Top Model a couple of times, done some music videos for Agro Santos, and yeah, lots of other projects. So I was obviously very, very heavily into makeup. So very naive, gymnast, didn't party a lot, etc. So I moved to a university, signed up for this dancing counselling degree that I was now doing, and suddenly I was by myself in halls of residence, and I was like, I can do what I want. There's nobody around me to tell me what to do.
Resident Evil.
I'm like, oh. There was no Grindr back then. None of all that. There was no sort of apps to go on, but I still had fun. There was a bar called Bar 69. If you're still there, you're still there. The drag queen's probably still there working. Hello. So I had a great time in Chester, exploring myself, exploring who I was as a gay person away from Northern Ireland. And that's when I really sort of come into my own. I used to go up on a Friday night to Manchester. So once I'd done the Chester scene, I went, right, okay, I'm done with that now. I'm going to go to Manchester. So Manchester was an hour away on the train. So I used to go up with one of my friends, who's still one of my best friends now, James Price. Hello, James. So we used to go to Manchester on a Friday night and come back on a Sunday morning. So we would go up there on the train, party all night in Canal Street, stay over somewhere, and then come back on the train on Sunday morning. And that was when I had my first half an E.
Oh, nice.
So I had my first half an E in Manchester with some friends, and had an absolute ball. This is when they used to have Essential at the end of Canal Street. I think my first time in Essential, Atomic Kitten were playing. Oh, yeah, downstairs in the Sweatbox. Have you ever been to Manchester?
Like they were actually playing?
Yeah, Atomic Kitten were actually there. They used to have celebrities, so any celebrities that were wanting to promote something, they used to perform in Essentials downstairs. So when you walked up to Essential, have you ever been, by the way?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
So you walk up the stairs, and all you can hear is the bass. The bass is just so overwhelming, and then they have this little round circular staircase which goes downstairs into the pit. So the pit downstairs was more like the Muscle Marys and the Sweaty Betties down there popping pills, doing whatever they're doing. But that's where they used to host all of the big events, the big pop stars. So I remember them being there one of the nights I was there. Might have been the first night. We all like to romanticize stories, don't we? Sometimes it might not be the truth, but it was round then anyway.
If you take half a pill, everything's great.
It was round then. It was round then. So that was my first introduction to sort of partying or drugs or something like around that sphere.
How do you think that you went from living quite like a relatively sheltered life with your parents so dedicated to your craft as a gymnast to acquiring HIV, for example?
So HIV comes a long way down the line, but I'll cut out some things, okay? So because I know we haven't got. She's like, hopefully, get on with it, Taylor. I'm sorry, I like to talk. Come back for part 2. No, So HIV comes down the line, but I like to give context for everything so you can actually understand where I'm coming from. So I done my degree in dance. I always wanted to dance, but Chester was actually where I met my dance partner, Owen. So Owen was a housemate of a friend's housemate. Okay, so he would come and stay, and me and Owen hit it off like from the start. So Owen loved to watch. Sorry, Owen's passed now, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
bless him.
Owen loved to watch like Paris Hilton and like Nicole Richie, Simple Life, all that jazz. So whenever I moved to London, Owen ended up in London as well. So we ended up forming this dancing duo together called the Blondies. So we would literally strip down naked, like to hot pants, smoky eye, glitter all over our tits, and walk around as flower boys in London. From that, we got some pole dancing gigs. Ended up dancing with Gaga and Kelly Rowland in the Astoria. Like we were in the magazines in the time. It was one of those ones. But yeah, we established ourselves on the party scene basically in London, and the reason why I want to I'm briefing over part of that story there, but that's in a synopsis. So I hadn't heard of HIV. I hadn't been looking for it, and obviously I was having sex. And to this point, I'd probably been with like at least 4 people, and and that includes other stuff and as well as sex. So probably been 4 people at this point, but in a very high sexualized sort of job. I was still working for Mac at the time, but I was pole dancing in Old Compton Street at a place called The Village 4 nights a week. Okay, in hot pants, like getting money shoved down my socks. Great times.
Your poor ties.
I know.
Black and blue.
No, literally, I'm so raging. I lost my Facebook because it got hacked, but I had all my old dancing photographs on it, and I was ripped. My ass was like 2 freaking buns. It was amazing. 8-pack, looked stunning, tan, sweaty, amazing. So in a very, very sexualized sort of environment, and I'm not having that much sex or not that experienced in sex. And one of the nights that I went, I met this guy, Ryan. Now Ryan was beautiful, 6'3", stunning, built like just gorgeous.
Hi Ryan.
Hi Ryan, if you're watching. So and Ryan and I have spoken since, and Ryan and I are cool. Okay. So Ryan and I got with each other in the club, and he's like, take it back to mine. I'm like, great, let's have fun. Do you know what? I'm away with the endorphins and everything's like flying high, and it's lovely. Had some great naughty times, and then I found out the next day that Ryan is actually, what wasn't the next day, it might have been 2 days after, from a friend that Ryan's actually HIV positive, and the discussion hadn't happened with me, and we didn't use protection, and I felt like the world had collapsed on top of me at this time. And like I must have been, how old was I? I was about 24, 23, and the world's collapsing on top of me. I'm like, oh my God, I haven't even thought about this possibility. I haven't even looked at this. I've been so freaking naive, because that's been my journey. That's been the lesson that I've had to learn my whole entire life is look around you, take everything in, stop being so naive. And I burst into tears. I was very dramatic. Not like me. And I went to Guy's in St Thomas's Hospital, like literally that day, and I got post-exposure prophylaxis. So I had the tablets, I took them, and I took my tests after this certain amount of time. You've got to take like 6 weeks or whatever it is. You've got to go back for tests. Thankfully, I'm negative. Nothing had happened. Everything was great. I had a conversation with Ryan. Everything's fine. It was like, we came to an agreement. Everything was fine. And from that, I was heart scared, and I didn't have sex for 2 years. Didn't have sex with anyone for 2 years because I was petrified. Now, talking about HIV, from that moment, I thought that HIV was this big scary ghost that was chasing me. And in the back of my head, I don't know if it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, I knew it was going to catch me. I knew at some point in my life that something would happen and I would end up with HIV, which is part of the reason why. And I don't know what it was. It was maybe some woo-woo. Maybe it was something that I was like, there's something telling me that this is going to happen. This is going to be fate. Okay. And that's truly how I felt, which is why I abstained for 2 years. And I was like, I didn't have sex with anybody, no sexual contact, and I'm still dancing, I'm still performing, I'm still, pole dancing in these highly sexualized environments, and also taking drugs, partying, and when you're around all that, it's like, it's very easy to just go, yeah, let's go.
So London's just temptation everywhere, isn't it?
Massive,
everywhere you go.
Massive temptation. And then it's as I said, this could be an episode of Brookside or EastEnders. So there's one day I was at the gym, and it was a gym just off Carnaby Street, and I'm in the sauna. This guy's making eyes at me. I'm making eyes at him, and ended up, making a connection with this guy, and I went back to his apartment in Brixton. I had a great time. It was more of a one-time thing, but it was like I needed this. There was a release inside me that needed to happen, and I needed to reconnect with myself sexually again. And had a flipping ball. Had a great time. Never spoke to him again. So the next day, I actually met my ex. Okay, not my current partner, my ex, and he was working in the same sort of field that I was working in, and I completely fell in love with him straight away.
Aww.
Like it was love at first sight, and we went on some dates. We were working very, very closely together in similar companies. So it was just like I was so obsessed with him. And a couple of dates in, he says, "I've got something to tell you." And I was going, "Okay, what's coming? What is it?" And he said to me, "I'm HIV positive." And I initially freaked out in that moment. I was like, "Oh my God, okay, right, what's going to happen here?" Luckily enough, it was towards the end of our date. He went away and I went away, and I came home and done like a lot of soul searching and a lot of like thinking, to myself, why am I letting something like that ruin what I think of somebody, or ruin a potential of something to happen? So this is, I had to go on Wikipedia and go on government websites. I found out everything about HIV. This is before U equals U. This is before anyone really knew, if you were undetectable, if you were taking your medication, you could not transmit the disease or the
What kind
virus.
of year are we talking about?
So this is in 2009.
So even before PrEP.
2009, yeah. So 2009, because Stephen and I were together from 2009 to 2011. So it might have been end of 2008, to be honest. So Stephen was like, he didn't message me. He said, "I'll wait till you message me." And I messaged him back. I invited him for dinner. I made a lovely mince, got a lovely bottle of Merlot. Invited him over. I was living in Vauxhall Walk at the time in London, and I invited him over, and he opened the door, and I give him a massive hug, and I says, "Come on in." And he goes, "Right, so what's happening? Are you okay?" And I pulled out this folder and I had all the printouts of everything I'd researched and everything I'd done, and I says, "I'm not going to let that stand in the way," which was like a massive moment for me. It was a massive breather that I could take, going, okay, I'm okay with this. This is all right. After the 2 years of what happened before and me freaking out, and then meeting Stephen and going, "Oh my God, this is something could happen here." And Stephen and I were together for 2 years, had a great relationship. It ended. I was moving away. I was moving to Bristol. I got promoted into quite a well paid job, working for Bobby Brown UK, and I moved from London to Bath. Okay, I told this story earlier when we were chatting outside that if Bath is such a magical, mystical place. Something called me to it. After Stephen and I broke up, it was like getting off the train at Hogsmeade for Harry Potter, looking around, going, "This is a brand new start for me. This is fresh." But it's also unnerving again, because I've left everything in London, all my friends, all the familiarity, to take on this big position in a corporate company where I'm looking after the entire of the south of England and Wales for the education for each member of the team. And I find it incredibly lonely, like incredibly lonely. And like I felt out of place because I was like by myself, having to create a new life, make friends, make connections. And I wasn't entirely healthy with some of the decisions I made. Do you know, I was because I didn't really feel a massive community. And yeah, so you get on the chat rooms, you get on the websites, you get on the let's hook up, let's go to this, let's see what's happening, let's experiment a little bit.
Well, loneliness is such a driving factor, I think, in those scenarios, and trying to overcome isolation and build some connection. It's really understandable that you find yourself in that space.
It was massively so. I mean, I was working 60, 70 hours a week and coming home to a gorgeous flat. Like, it was a beautiful flat, and it was built in the 1500s. It was like, it had like old bread ovens in it that were like the old used by the maids. I thought it was haunted. But we're talking Bath here. This is like, it's such
ancient.
an old ancient place with a mystical healing energy, which is quite funny. But yeah, so risky behaviors and out of loneliness, which is hard to say, but it was out of loneliness. And I was working so hard, being surrounded by people who were looking up to me all day, every day, going, they're an oracle, they know what they're doing, they're our education manager, they're leading us. And then coming home and shutting the door going, Nobody. Silence. Who am I talking to? Where am I going? So yeah, I needed the endorphins. I needed touch. I needed physicality, and that's whenever I sort of start experimenting a bit more with more of that drugs and partying, and having a release at the weekends, and then that's where the risky behaviors come in, isn't it? That's where we put ourselves in these situations where it's not healthy, and so there's this one night. So this is in 2013. So we're getting to it now. We're at the last chapter, baby. But you get the context.
Well, I have so many questions, but I don't want to break the roll.
I love the
I'm
roll.
so sorry.
No,
I'm
it's all
relaxed now.
good.
We're fine. I can talk forever.
I'm enthralled. Continue.
Yeah. We're just getting to this campsite
We're getting to the
party.
good part. My mum's going to watch this. I'm so sorry, Mum.
We love you, Mum. What's your mom's name?
Maureen.
Hi, Maureen.
Hi,
Maureen. And Jim and my sister Jennifer, who's getting married this year. I love you so much.
Maureen, your beauty is beyond compare.
Yeah.
Maureen.
Maureen.
Okay, Maureen, we're going to the cottage.
We're going to the cottage.
You're going to the cottage. Tell us.
At the cottage.
Where you can
Tell
never
us.
leave. Right, so yes, so anyway, I just need to get this off my chest because yes, I've come out about my HIV. I've talked about it on national TV, but I've never told this part of it, and I've never come out about what I'm not going to go exactly into details, but I will tell you the brief synopsis. So I went to this party, and it was there was a lot of people doing a lot of things, a lot of different drugs, a lot of different partying, a lot of different experiences, and I had a great time. I had fun while I was there. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. But however, yes, and I did actually have some risky behaviours with a person there. Now it turns out a couple of days later, I get a message from a fellow friend or a fellow sort of person who was in that scene, saying that they seen something online about me, and I was going, right, okay, and it says that he had infected me with HIV, and on purpose, and he was bragging about it, and there was this sort of it was a specific website, and that he used the word sire in how he discussed it. I know it's you want trauma, baby, I got trauma for you. And I've never come out and talked about this, and it's very, very serious. It's very serious to me, but I seen the screenshots. I didn't see the actual chat on the website. I seen the screenshots. And I was instantly horrified. I was instantly sort of like heartbroken. It was outside of the window for post-exposure prophylaxis. So it must have been a week. It must have been, longer than I said initially. And I was in bits, in absolute bits. Number one, at myself for letting that self-fulfilling prophecy come potentially true at this point. Number two, for the risky behaviours. And I was very hard on myself, but I wasn't being gracious. I wasn't being loving towards myself or going, you were lonely. You needed some physical attention from people. Like,
Tailor Maid, can I just talk a little bit about statistics here? Because some people always beat themselves up about it. This is the most human behaviour. What we're seeing is people just don't use condoms. Whether you're straight or gay, it does not matter. And there's many different reasons. Seeking for connection, fear of rejection, the physicality of it. Some people say, oh, it could be a boner killer for some people. It could be a million different reasons. But yet we beat ourselves up non-stop about it, but yet no one that I know who's sexually active wears a condom 100% of the time. It doesn't matter about your sexuality or your gender or whatever, and this is what the statistics have shown us, but yet we beat ourselves up ad nauseum when we're at that particular time very vulnerable, as you were saying. We're young, we're naive, we just seek that connection. So I always find this visceral reaction when people beat themselves up about it. I'm like, stop, we're only human. And something that Christian Samuel always says, he was on our podcast, he's like, do you know, when it comes to HIV, it's almost like you're hit by a stray bullet in a war zone when it comes to HIV. It's a game of luck, basically. But what I'm hearing from you, and the most traumatizing thing, is that someone intentionally sought to pass it on. And not only that, but then went on video to like tell everyone about it as if it's something that's like something to be like proud about. I just can't get into that person's mentality, and I can only imagine how you felt.
I think it was a kink sort of thing for it's a very sick kink. It's a very sick sort of thing to do, and it sounds like I know even the words leaving my mouth, it sounds like I'm making it up. Honestly, you can't make this stuff up.
But
This
victims feel like that.
I
All
know.
victims feel like that. That
Every
no
single-
one's going to believe us, and
Yeah.
that that we question our own validity. So I just want to say that to you. That
Yeah.
there's no question of that.
We believe you.
You know.
And I've never actually spoken about it.
Yeah.
I spoke about it to Kira, but I haven't. My friend. Sorry, I've spoken to my friend about it, but I've never spoken it like this. And this is part of the healing that I need. So I'm sure we'll get into it later about the TV program possibly. A big reason why I wanted to discuss my HIV status on national TV was because I wanted to remove the shame and I wanted to remove the axe that I was cutting my own head off with.
Yeah.
Because I do that in private. I'm like, you're not. Whenever I'm at my worst, you're not good enough.
Yeah.
You failed. And it's all connected to how I feel about myself, and HIV was a big part of that.
Yeah.
It's I'm owning it now, and I can be more kinder to myself, and I can look back at that person in 2013 and going, my God, you were trying your best. You were trying your best. You were just looking for connection.
In the spirit of being good to yourself, can I say one thing about it?
Yeah.
It was not a self-fulfilling prophecy. It wasn't.
Yeah.
And it never will be. You didn't create that.
Yeah.
That part of you that predicted it for you was put on you
Yeah.
by the stigma, by society, by you being a queer kid being bullied.
Mm.
There's no self-fulfilling prophecy going out there. You were told it was going to happen to you, that it might happen to you. That it was very likely
Yeah.
because it was likely, and it did.
Yeah.
That's not you, babe.
Yeah.
That's just, like Robbie said, the stray bullet.
See, this is weird. It's weird for me because I feel I haven't got not the credibility to be sitting here on this podcast talking to you about it,
Oh, you do.
but talking to you about my experiences, because I'm still working out how I feel about everything,
So are
even
we.
to this day. And I'm diagnosed in 2013
Uh-huh.
on medication from 2013, and we're now
Wow.
in 2020, near 2026, 2027, and I still feel multiple different emotions at different times about my status. Like I heard about you wanting to go to Australia. I wanted to travel. I wanted to move to different countries. I wanted to, and again, these are other limiting factors. I'm going, I wanted to do that. I can't do that now. So it's automatically I'm looking at things from a negative point of view rather than from a positive. If I was born in the 80s or 90s, I probably
You don't need
wouldn't
to
be
be
here.
positive about life or even feel positively about your HIV. It's such a traumatic story, you know? And there's a huge stigma that came with that abuse and with that violation of you. But what it is great about that to see is that you're curious about your HIV, that you don't want to live in shame,
No.
that you're sitting here with us, that you've embraced us from the moment we met.
Yeah.
And like, I'm super proud of you. And
Thank you.
I think you've just been through something very hard, and you need to stop beating yourself up at all about it.
Yeah. And this is the thing, this person, so whenever like I knew my zero conversion was happening, by the way, whenever it happened. I took a week off work, and I can't remember exact timelines, and I might get things mixed up here. So I can remember being very, very sick around Halloween in 2013, and watching reruns of fucking Made in Chelsea, which I can't watch to this day. So watching.
Shall I catch you up on what you've missed?
No, please don't. Please don't. I can't watch it to this day. So
can't
watching
stop.
reruns and having the most craziest out of body experience, dizziness, like living outside my body, being temperature and nightmares and the most vivid dreams I've ever had in my life. And it was just the craziest experience for me. And I was like, right, I hope that I dodged the bullet, because I dodged the bullet before and I had post-exposure prophylaxis. The doctor in Guys and St Thomas's told me, you probably are okay. You just need to take it as a precaution. And I thought, maybe, just maybe, what was said on that website by that person might have been, hopefully compartmentalize it, put it away. It didn't happen. Maybe it'll be fine this time. And after that happened, because obviously I'd read up about everything about HIV from being with Stephen previously, and I knew certain things. I was like, I need to go and get tested. So I went and got tested. In Bath, and I was by myself, and again, very lonely. I didn't tell anybody what was happening. And Yeah, so I went about my business. I was working very, very hard, obviously, for Bobby Brown at the time. And the most traumatic part of this story is I found out that I was HIV positive in John fucking Lewis. In John Lewis, in the staff canteen.
Oh wow.
In the staff canteen. So in John Lewis, Cardiff. So I was working.
It gets worse.
I was working in Wales. In Wales, I was working with the John Lewis Cardiff team at the time.
I can just imagine you singing the national anthem now that you know it.
And I went upstairs to have my, partner's lunch, which you get a, discounted whatever. And I'm having my lunch, and I had the call, and I went into a private room, and they told me there and then. They said, okay. So I just told them, please tell me. I know it should be done in person. Just tell me now. And they're like, yes, it's there has been the markers for HIV are in your system. And I was like, right, okay. So I went down, and I was having another out of body experience. I was like, woo, so out of myself. And I grabbed my things and I walked downstairs. It was I remember the staircase going on and on and on and on. And I got back to the counter and said, I need to go home. And I grabbed my bag and I just walked out the door. And like, obviously I was a higher level manager. I could have, I didn't even need to say goodbye, but I did. And I got in my car and I was driving home, and my regional manager called me at the time, and she was like, well, what's going on? How are you today? And I said, I'm going to need to take some time off. And they were like, why? What's happened? And I told her. I said, I've just been diagnosed with HIV. So first person I told was on the day I found out, and it was my regional manager at work. Luckily enough, she was gobsmacked, like gobsmacked completely, and was like, right, okay, right, take some time. We can talk to human resources, see what we can do for you. Luckily, I was working for Estee Lauder companies, and I'd worked for Estee Lauder companies at this point. This is 2013. I'd worked for Estee Lauder companies for 9 years at this point, and I worked for them until 2017. So I was there a long time, and I was in corporate, so I wasn't in store. So there was a lot more benefits attached to my package as such. So I went home, and then I had to go for hospital appointments and et cetera, et cetera. Turns out I had to get started on medication quite quickly because I developed thrombocytopenia, which is a disorder with your platelets. So your platelets, you bruise very easily, and so they were concerned about my blood clotting or blood clots, or if I fell, like head injuries, bleeds in the brain, etc. So I got started on my tablets straight away, and I'm still on them tablets to the same day.
Wow, same tablets?
Still on my Tic Tacs, baby. Still on my Tic Tacs.
Fresh breath.
Yeah. And just because I'm conscious that we might run out of time, ultimately you end up moving back to Belfast.
Yes, I did.
And maybe to be closer to family. But what I'm curious about is how you go from that, receiving that diagnosis, to appearing on the BBC talking about your HIV openly in an environment like Belfast in Northern Ireland, where there is no representation apart from Matthew Kavanagh, the wonderful Matthew Kavanagh. I can't think of anyone else.
Yeah.
The cherry on top.
I can't either. Which is really, really funny. As I said previously, I feel that I find my community with you guys down here. Do you know, I feel so warm and so welcomed in Dublin.
And loved.
And loved. I do. I feel the love.
Good.
Every time I perform the George with you guys, it's like, your whole tribe shows up, and it's incredible. And I feel that. I feel that love. There isn't any of that in Belfast. So the reason I come out about my HIV status on TV, on national television, because it was a selfish reason. It was because I needed to get it off my thought processes in my head. As I said before, I needed to take away the axe that I was cutting my head off with. Because whenever I was alone, or if I was down, I would beat myself up constantly about it. I knew there was more to the story. There was more to come out. It's just we didn't get a season 2. So there was no opportunity for me to talk more about my story. It was like, coming out, you've come out about your HIV, I'm going to pick up my medication. That was the storylines in the show. It's me and my lovely partner Robert. Hello, Robert.
Hi, Robert.
The show is on YouTube, right?
The show is on YouTube.
For our listeners, let them know what it is.
It's just been taken off BBC iPlayer for some reason. How rude. I think it might be going on to another streaming platform. I don't know, though. I'm not connected with any of it anymore, so I'm not sure. But you know what? Keep tuned, and we'll have a little look and see if it comes up again, because it would be great to see again.
And the show's called, just for
it's called
listening.
Made Up in Belfast. There's 11 episodes. episodes, and my main HIV story is episode 9. Episode 9. So I moved back to Belfast. I took redundancy from Bobby Brown, which was amazing. I got to move home. I got my house, bought my house, and then got with my boyfriend Robert. Told Robert even before we met that I was HIV positive, and he was like, "I'm what? Okay."
Like a Taurus.
He was like, whatever. Yeah, complete Taurus energy. He's like, whatever. He's like, next, what's for
Horny.
dinner? What's for dinner? I'm like, okay. He didn't actually care at all.
Shout out to Rob.
Shout out to Rob, love you. So Rob,
He's great.
so Robert and I have been together ever since, and whenever it came to the pitch for the TV program, they were pitching different casts within Be Perfect Cosmetics who was going to be featured. And I wasn't initially casted, so they initially had a cast of over 40-year-olds, and they're like, get rid of them all. We want a younger cast. How ruthless is that? And then they were like, who's that guy there with the blue hair? And we were like, oh, that's James. Oh, wait, like, get him in. So I had to do a piece to camera and talk about myself, and you know what I'm like. I'm like, la, 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 la. And so it turns out the HIV came up in that, and then they were like, right, okay, there's something there. We can talk about that. Would you be comfortable with this? And I was like, right, okay. Had a thought about it. I was like, I need to do this for me selfishly and I wasn't thinking about other people at that point. I'll be honest. I was thinking I need to get rid of this from my soul, and if it can help one person talking about it, then
All the
it's
better.
done its job. It's done its job. So then it ended up being filmed and broadcast, and that's how a lot of my family members found out I had HIV. Not my close family members. So my mum and dad, brother, sister found out quite quickly. And close people to me knew. But a lot of I've got over 100 first cousins. I've got over 40 aunts and uncles. So it's a big family. So a lot of them found out that I had HIV through the show.
The mad is kind of a nice way just to let everyone know, rather than you having to go to family member to family member, you know? It's like, here you go.
CC everyone in the email,
Exactly.
bitch. That's just me.
It makes life a lot easier. And if I can give context to how big this is for Northern Ireland, right? So I looked up a few statistics, and this is why I want to showcase how much of an anomaly you are and how brilliant you are. So as of 2023, there's around 1,370 people attending HIV care in Northern Ireland, right? So quite a lot of people for just a country of 2 million people, right? And in 2023, there's around 100 people diagnosed. But in 2023, 10 people died. 10 people died of HIV, were reported dead. So imagine 100 people diagnosed in 2023 and 10 reported dead of a HIV related. Yeah, it's 10%.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if they're of new diagnosis. Do you know, they could be people who just didn't
No, but
take
it's
meds
10%
or
of
whatever.
that statistic. It's like when you put it into that perspective.
Like, the ratio is not good, can I just say. But also, when we just think about 1,370 people as of 2023, it's probably 1,500 people now in 2026. We know 2 people who are out about their status. And you're one of them.
I never thought about it like that.
No, it's crazy.
I just want to highlight how incredible you are.
Yeah.
I never thought
Really?
about it like that at all.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I mask myself. I mask my feelings quite a lot, and not mask them. I always say my brain is like a little warehouse. There's mice in there, and there's a washing line. Okay, and you go through the washing line, pick off pictures because I'm a visual learner. Like, okay, store that. But also there's boxes in there, and I put things in boxes and I store them, and I go, right, okay, that's in the storage area. Don't think about that. You don't need to think about that again because you're moving forward, or you're going this way.
That's not healthy, babe.
Babe, you honestly don't know. Inside of my brain is freaking mental, absolutely mental. So even when I'm telling stories, it's pictures that come into my head, and I go, I need to speak about this, I need to speak about that. It just helps me recall. But I don't know what it is. Sometimes I can't see things. I think that's a human condition, is it not? You can't see things about yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe until they're highlighted to you by friends or by people who are in the same community as you, who go, hold on a minute, you've actually done something special here.
Yeah.
And that's lovely to hear you say that.
It's very special because, it means so much to people who aren't able to have that, and people who are chopping their own head off, to use your expression, or people who are in the closet. For me, Robbie was that person for a while. Just someone that I could see doing something that I knew I wanted for me as well.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to bring that for people in Northern Ireland.
I really want to. Like, I want to talk about it more. I just don't know how. I don't know how or where to where to get down. Robbie, do you want to help me?
Yes, that's all come up. But I do think, I do mention, you're still on this journey of figuring out where HIV sits within you, especially emotionally, and that takes a while. What we find with people is HIV just exacerbates everything else that happened in your life, right? So you don't know whether it's the HIV or whether it's just other things that just came to the fore a lot of the time too. And that takes a while. That takes decades for some people. Some people never truly get there.
And really, it's just the connection, isn't it? Sorry for interrupting, but
right.
I just mean what you'll find first is just friends, I think.
Yeah.
And that'll happen behind the scenes. That will happen in DMs. That'll happen maybe on Instagram. Yeah. But those are the most important things. It makes me so emotional just to say it. Yeah. Everything else, podcasts, etc., grant applications,
no, but it's just talking about it as well. It's like, I don't know where I would, like, I don't know, and that's the thing. I don't post about it enough. I don't post a lot on social media. I've sort of taken a hiatus from social media, just from a mental health, point of view, because I was scrolling a lot, and it wasn't good for my mental health or my mental state at that point. But I do think there's something there, and there's something that needs to be explored, and that needs to be that awareness needs to be brought to it. And you know, with them statistics, it's like, and then you said, you only know 2 people out from Northern Ireland. It's like, there's so much more work that needs to be done to remind people that, number one, you can live with HIV completely fine. You equals you, undetectable, untransmittable, but also it's like that you can live a healthy life and you don't need to be ashamed of it. Even though I've still got a little bit.
Thrive.
That's one thing I like to tell everyone is sometimes they're like, who am I to speak up? Who would want to listen to me, my little story? Well, actually, one story can change hearts and minds, or can change hearts and minds of a few, and then their stories change hearts and minds of a few, and then it's a ripple effect, and that's the Poz Vibe way, to be honest with you. It sounds small, it sounds a bit silly, but actually that's how change makes. It sounds from one person standing up, being defiant, and we live in a different time now, thankfully. Thanks to all those things, we're backed up by science, you're backed up by community here in Ireland, and I think with those statistics, change needs to happen, babe. It doesn't that we can't allow this to continue to happen. 100%. We can't allow 10 people to die. I imagine some of those die because they don't get tested for HIV, so it's too late for them, or they stop taking their meds due to shame or stigma. And we just can't allow that to happen this day and age.
It's crazy. It's only an hour and a half up the road as well.
When you never have to worry. I think we all need a Poz Vibe trip up to Belfast.
Yeah,
the show is a good time.
To the bumper, baby. I would go just for his spaghetti arms.
I love it.
Yeah, it's really amazing that you decided to join us today, and it's been such an honor to have you share your story with us. And you're going to be coming to the Georgian dancing with me and the witches tonight.
I'm sticking my boobies on, my good boobies, and we're going to have an absolute ball.
A total kiki,
and
darling.
For Pride Month, you are booked and busy, loads of brunches, and honestly, if anyone hasn't seen you in drag, they need to see. It is a complete show. Tell us about your Pride events.
Okay, so I've got lots of Pride events coming up, which I'm super excited about. I'm over in Bristol, first time in Bristol Pride, first time back in Bristol actually since I left, which is going to be absolutely incredible. I'm also doing Stafford Pride. I'm co-hosting that again for the 3rd year running, which I'm super excited about. I'm down in Drogheda Pride. I'm hosting one of their main events, and then I'm up in Letterkenny, and we're hosting. It's quite new. It's a brunch pub crawl, which I only found out details about last night. I have got 2 more prides in the talks, and I've got brunches all over the place. Things have been a bit quiet the last couple of months, but it's all heating up for the summer, baby.
Ooh.
And if people are going to follow you, where should they follow you?
So I'm on Instagram at totally.tailor, and Tailor is spelled Tailor, like I have a tail.
Excellent. Well, that was just such a beautiful episode. I'm so happy you're official Poz Vibe Tribe member.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see you later on tonight.
Yeah, can't wait. I'm sorry for talking too much.
No, not at all. That's our business. That's our bread and butter. We love it.
I couldn't keep my eyes off you, and I'm sure our listeners, I can't help but love your story as well. So thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Taylor, for joining us. So remember everyone to stay positive
and stay powerful.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to Poz Vibe Podcast. If you enjoyed this week's episode, show us you care by leaving a review wherever you listen. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Poz Vibe Podcast for all the latest news and updates.